Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Trustees meeting for June the 29th, 2022 of Delhi Township. We begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence, and we try to dedicate our moment of silence possibly to a resident who has passed or a tragedy that has happened. And right now, I'd like to recognize a lovely lady by the name of Jerry Ogg. Mrs. Ogg was married to George Ogg, and they were forever at Delhi Swim Club. So those of us that grew up going to Delhi Swim Club knew the Ogg family, and particularly Mrs. Jerry Ogg. So may she rest in peace. She's survived by her husband, George, and 2 sons. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. All right, we'll begin the meeting then with the approval of the minutes. Mr. Luby.
Motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees regular meeting on June 8th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending June 14th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved.
Motion to approve bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion approved. Report from our fiscal officer then, Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2022-82, a resolution amending appropriations for expenses, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Is there any discussion on this resolution? Mr. DeLong?
Sure, no problem. Feels weird sitting up here tonight with my boss behind my shoulder right now. But no, this is a resolution. It's to appropriate some expenses. This is basic of our interest on our bond payment for the Delhi Town Square project we have underway, which should be moving a lot quicker here soon. So,
Interest on bonds.
interest
All
on
right.
bonds.
Thank you.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-83, resolution authorizing the township administrator to spend greater than $10,000 on behalf of the township, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And is there any discussion on this resolution? Again, Mr. DeLong?
Yeah, sure. This is to allow us to go under contract to do some improvement on Overhill Lane where we need to install some curbing. There's been some flooding issues over the years, so this will allow us to hire a contractor so we can get some curbs put in that we can control the stormwater runoff.
Thank you.
Motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes. Significant transactions, Mr. Luby?
Significant transactions since the last meeting as far as deposits. On June 20th, we received $48,000 for our cable franchise fees. On 6/24, we received $57,000 for the gasoline tax, local government fund, and the motor vehicle license tax. As far as disbursements, on 6/28, we had a check to Fred Neiman for $92,000, which was paving for streets from the Waterworks project. On 6/28, we had a payment to Jill Schiller, Hamilton County Treasurer, for $35,000, which is some real estate taxes. And on 6/9, our payroll was $329,000. And on 6/23, our payroll was $360,000. It was a little higher due to the longevity and our comp payouts.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Luby. Trustee correspondence, Trustee Davis.
Just a quick piece, obviously a lot going on Delhi Pike. Blue Roo Car Wash is in there, and of course that was quite the buzz last week where you could get your car washed for $1 or even free for the rest, or at least that week. So I got mine yesterday, and the gentleman I was talking with, I said, how's business? He said, last week alone we had over 1,000 people sign up for the monthly car wash.
Good.
Wow. So Delhi is going to be like squeaky clean, no kidding. And that's just with one of them opening up. I can't imagine the other. Anyway, all that for another day. But congratulations, Blue Roo, and obviously that's what it's about. Delhi, support your local businesses. That's what you need to do. So thank you.
That's great. Trustee Sturts.
Yes, again, we've received another nice letter from somebody that our fire department responded to. And, I mean, I've been up here 6 years, I guess, and I must say, I think we're just now starting to get some really nice notes. And either that or the chief's just letting us know, but people are being kinder. I mean, and I appreciate that, and thanking our first responders. Many of you here tonight in the police force, I know we hear good things about you too, but this was one where somebody's house was on fire, and the woman said, "You saved my home," and referred to all of our first responders as heroes. And I double that. I second that all the way around. I think everybody up here, we refer to you as our heroes. So thank you for sending in a nice note and letting us, congratulate our people and give them some kudos. Even though they think that's what their job is and they don't need to hear about it, they truly do need to hear about it. We all need a kudo. Secondly, as the chair of the Hamilton County Public Health Advisory Council, they sent out something recently, and it's good news for Hamilton County, even with COVID around. We all know it's still here. Hamilton County has been classified by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention as an area of low transmission. Don't let your guards down. That just means everybody's doing a really good job, and Hamilton County has really been proactive on this. However, it's important to realize the pandemic is not over yet. As COVID-19 continues to affect many in our county, the good news is that the vaccinations and successful treatment protocols, the severity of infections have been considerably reduced. So congratulations to all of you being proactive. Also during this time, not such good news, but many of the areas in the country saw an increase in drug overdose during the pandemic. Hamilton County saw a reduction. And that's because they have the Hamilton County Health Harm Reduction Program that plays a significant role. So Hamilton County Health is looking out for us, not just to check out your restaurants and septic tanks and things of that sort, but they truly do care about the person. So thank you, Hamilton County Public Health.
Thank you. And today, on June 29th in Delhi Township, we declared this to be Burt Brothers Day. For those of you who have ever visited our senior center, Burt Brothers is she is the queen of the senior center. She has been involved with the senior center for about 32 years. And Burt is not stepping away from the senior center. She'll still be an active participant down there. But at 97, she's decided to relinquish her role as the president of the senior group. And we just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to Burt Brothers for a wonderful job in our senior center. And we won't have to say we'll miss you because we'll still see her. But thank you, Burt Brothers. And June 29th, 2022, it's all your day, Burt Brothers. Thank you. Okay. Following that, we have a very special presentation.
Thank you, Board of Trustees. It is a special occasion, long time coming.
Yeah.
I will say these two officers that we're appointing here tonight actually replaced two vacancies we had, Lieutenant Bill Murphy and Brent Colley, who retired actually July of last year. So it's been a long time coming. It wasn't a lack of effort. We put due diligence into it. You know, I did say and told myself I'm not going to go a whole year without hiring somebody. So I figured years coming up, I had to make sure I just grabbed somebody. So this is what we got.
Oh, and we know better than that, Chief. We know a lot better than that.
So we're excited. They're actually not real new. Logistics and getting families here, times that everybody could be here. This was a time. But both of them have been on the road for a while now and anticipate being out on their own solar patrol real soon here. So we appreciate them. First, are we starting with Anthony? Kara? Okay, Kara, would you like to come up? Yep. If you'd like to introduce, and any other family members here, help yourself.
Okay. I'll lower this a little bit. My name is Kara Venemeyer. I graduated from Henry Harrison High School in 2014 and then graduated. Oh, I'm sorry. This is yours.
Introduce
Introduce him. I'm sorry. Okay, this is.
Wow, you laid everything out for me there.
Sorry. This is my fiance, Zach Falk, and then my dad, Mark Venemeyer, my mom, Chris Venemeyer, my aunt, Pat Hoffman, my uncle, Bob Roos, and then my aunt, Elaine Roos, and then my brother and his wife and baby, newborn baby, are back there. So, and then you can read about me later.
Your brother, fellow Delhi Township
Yes.
Police Officer, Kyle Venemeyer. And then Kara's father's retired lieutenant with the city of Cincinnati. How many years did you do? 33 years, so it's in the family. We appreciate it. Kara graduated in 2014 from William Henry Harrison High School. Was it 2014? Okay. She's a graduate 2018 from Mount St. Joseph University, where she obtained a bachelor's degree in criminology and a minor in forensic science. She did an internship approximately 6 months in 2017 with the Cincinnati Police Department, the Criminal Investigation Section, including homicides. She's also a certified Ohio Police Officer Training Academy certification, evidence technician certification that she also obtained through the Ohio State Highway Patrol Academy. She was a police officer prior to us, coming from the Middletown Police Department, where she joined in August of 2019, the position she held until joining Delhi PD. Her hobbies, she enjoys running, weightlifting, and hunting. So we're real excited to have Kara here with us. I look forward to working with both of them for the next 30 years. So that's a joke.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
30 years would be a long time for me. But I know they're committed to the township, and I know they're going to be as satisfied as I am after doing 30 years here and serving the community of Delhi. So with that, Trustee Seavey, if you'd like to swear in Kara. Y'all come over here. This is a reading test.
Are we going to go right from the,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, Kara, you're going to repeat after me.
Okay.
I, Maria Kara Venemeyer, do solemnly swear that I will support
I, Maria Kara Venemeyer, do solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the resolutions of the Township of Delhi.
and the resolutions of the Township of Delhi,
And I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as police officer
and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a police officer
of the Delhi Township Police Department, so help me God.
of the Delhi Township Police Department, so help me God.
Welcome. Can you see the pinning? All right, Chief, you got one more? All right.
Thanks, sir. Congratulations. Anthony Crawford. Would you like to call up anybody with you? Okay. If you'd like to introduce your family or anybody else here with you.
This is my dad, Adam, my mom, Shannon, my girlfriend, Sammy, my aunt, Kristen, my brother, Elijah, and then my two lovely grandmothers, Nana and Grandma.
There you go. That's all we need to know.
You did good. All right, Anthony Adam Crawford. He's a graduate 2017 of Cooper High School in Union, Kentucky. Graduated in September of 2021 from the Butler Tech Police Academy. He was employed with Mount St. Joseph University Police Department starting in December of last year, 2001. He held that position until recently when we reached out to him to hire. He enjoys working out, playing basketball, and sports in general. True story. I don't even know if you know this, but I guess you do. He probably does. But I was eating in a local restaurant, Chipotle, one day, and saw this gentleman standing in line, and first appearances, look sharp and squared away. So went back to the office and called Norb Koopman, the captain up at Mount St. Joseph, and said, "Hey, who's your new officer?" So he told me, and he said, excellent guy, won't be here long. If he goes anywhere, I'd rather it be Delhi Township. So we reached out to him, he put in an application, went through the whole process. I didn't hire him just because of that look at Chipotle. He went through the rigorous, but it just goes to show you. But it's a testament to the way you carried yourself that day, so appreciate it. Oh, there you are.
Right here. Come on over here, Anthony. I, Anthony Adam Crawford.
Raise your right hand.
I, Anthony Adam Crawford, do solemnly swear that I will support
Do solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the resolutions of the Township of Delhi,
and the resolutions of the Township of Delhi,
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a police officer
and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a police officer
of the Delhi Township Police Department, so help me God.
of the Delhi Township Police Department, so help me God.
Congratulations, Anthony.
Yeah.
Mr. DeLong, if we could just take a moment to pause and have the board come down for some pictures with Anthony and Karen, we'll just do that very quickly.
You want to stand in front of the podium?
Stand in front of the podium.
Hold on.
Nice. Butterfingers. Good catch.
Play baseball.
You pitched. You had to catch it coming back, though.
And although Kara has real family standing in the back with her brother as a member of the Delhi Police Department, she has a lot of other brothers and sisters within the department that are all here to welcome her and to swear her in successfully. So we personally thank you for choosing Delhi Township. We're very proud of the Delhi Township Police Department, and we're sure that you will fit in so well and be an asset to that department.
And I'd like to thank all the DCPA members. A big part of our family.
That's the big part of our family is our Delhi Citizens Police. So thank you so much. I'm going to give everyone a break. So if you would like to depart with your family so that you're not sitting through the rest of the meeting, that's fine. We understand. We're not insulted. We're happy that you were here. And please enjoy the rest of your evening. And congratulations, family. We're very proud of your son and daughter.
Good.
That's the cutest.
Oh, my glasses.
Baby's like this big. My glasses, baby. Yeah, so tiny.
Yeah, right.
One moment. Oh, the Reed Department? Our new Reed Department.
God.
Do what?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's who. All right, we're back to real business now. We will begin now with a public hearing, Mr. Luby.
We have a motion to open the public hearing for the Delhi Township 2023 tax budget.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved. Do we have any public comments on the tax budget? No one has signed in. I have no written comments. Okay. With that being said, then, Mr. Luby,
We have a motion to close the public hearing for the 2023 Delhi Township tax budget.
So moved.
Second.
all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved. Following the agenda, Fire Department. Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2022-84, resolution entering into a master services and license agreement with Metro PCR for electronic patient care reporting consistent with the board's agreement with Medi-Cal Management, Inc., authorized at Resolution 2019-151, authorizing the fire chief to execute the agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Chief Campbell?
Yes, thank you, trustees. This is in regards to an agreement with a new PCR, patient care report form. So we currently keep all our patient care reports when we're in the field on a tablet, and that data is managed through the agency Safety Pad. Safety Pad is no longer supported at the end of the year, so we obviously have been in search of a new company to go with for our records management system. So Metro PCR is close to Safety Pad, so very little training translation for our personnel. And looking forward to getting with them as soon as the agreement's signed. All the same terms, really, it's very close to what we're dealing with now. So it would just be an extension of that to help us manage our patient care reporting.
Okay. And you have the historical data? I mean, all that's,
Yes. So they're going to handle the data management transition into their system. So that is included in this agreement. And then keeping all those documents for the period of time for records management.
thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
We have a motion to accept the retirement of part-time firefighter EMT FAO Stephen C. Corey, effective June 30th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved. We had a very nice reception this afternoon for Steve. Very, very nice. All
How many
right.
years of service did he have, Chief?
So he had 30 years of paid service. He does have 2 years where he was with the volunteer department. So during that time, so yes, we had a reception for him this morning or at noon. Just had family and friends over and dignitaries, so it was very nice. And he did receive his 30-year service award. You know, Steve has been a fixture in this department for a long time, and it's amazing. Guys from the 50s down in Sailor Park came up to say goodbye. We had Green Township, number of units. So after those folks left at about 12:30, we still had people rolling in 2:30 at the station from all over. So, no, it speaks highly when you've been serving that long. So, yeah,
Everyone
we're
was
very happy.
mesmerized with his scrapbook.
Yes, Steve is a fire junkie, fire nerd. He did serve full-time for the city of Florence. He retired from Florence as a battalion chief in 2008 before coming back to Delhi at 2008. But his total years of service have been 30.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Good luck, Stephen Corey.
We have a motion to accept the voluntary resignation of part-time firefighter EMT Dustin A. Honerkamp, effective June 27th, 2022.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved.
Motion to accept the voluntary resignation of part-time firefighter EMT Robert O. Reeder, effective June 8th, 2022.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor? Yes. Motion approved. Chief, comments?
Yeah, I did want to mention thank you to Dustin for his years of service to Delhi. He has only served in a part-time capacity for us, but along that time he's been in the reserves. Ultimately, his commitment now to the U.S. Navy is going to take him away for us for good. He's actually going to be a rescue diver and pursue kind of like what we do now, but at the Navy level. Certainly, we wish him well and safe travels. He did work with us with one deployment to Afghanistan, so certainly he's been with us for a formidable amount of time, and we wish him all the success in the world moving on to the Navy.
Great story. Thank you, Chief. All right, Parks and Recreation. I'm showing no agenda items. Mr. DeLong, is there any announcements or anything to go with Parks and Rec?
No, we want to thank everyone that came out to the Bad Habit concert recently. We had a good turnout. Unfortunately, it was by 111 degrees heat index, but plenty
little steamy.
Plenty of beverages were drank that evening and food was consumed. So we'll have some more events shown in the community updates at the end. We are working right now on replacing doors and locks on all of the restrooms in the parks, so at Delhi Park, so they'll be on timers. So that project started today, so that should be wrapped up by the end of the week. And we're still moving forward with the pickleball court, just getting things finalized with that, and hopefully we'll be able to break ground soon on that.
Well, the playground was extremely busy last night. It was great to see everyone was behaving and having a great time, and parents were sitting in the bench swings, and it was just good to see. It's good to see. All right. Police Department then, Mr. Luby?
Resolution 2022-85, resolution declaring certain police vehicles and equipment no longer needed for public use and authorizing the sale to the Hardin County, Ohio Board of Commissioners, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Chief?
Long relationship with Hardin County. It's worked out for 8 years now that we do this, so it's beneficial for both departments.
All right. All right, thank you.
I will move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes. Chief, I think you have a public service
Announcement.
announcement.
I just like
Please.
to talk about fireworks, and actually, we got a lot of calls actually at the department today about fireworks with the new state law that goes in effect on July 1st of this year. Although consumer fireworks will be and are legal after July 1st in the state of Ohio, it's not a free-for-all. It's not every day, every night. I'm going to hit a couple highlights, but I recommend anybody listening, they can actually go to the Ohio Commerce page, and they lay out a real nice fact sheet on there as far as the consumer fireworks and what you can do, what you can't do. Basically, there's 9 holidays in which fireworks are permitted. When I say fireworks, they are the 1.4G fireworks. So basically, that's any fireworks the consumer can go buy, local firework stores that you see around here. If you can buy it in there, it would fall under that category. The 1.3G are more towards the professionals and your big displays and so forth, so we'll leave that up to them. I'll just cover, although there's 9 holidays here, we'll hit them as we go throughout the year, but July 3rd, 4th, and 5th, fireworks are permitted in the state of Ohio. The Friday and Saturday and Sunday immediately before the 4th of July, and the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday immediately after the 4th of July, they are also permitted. The hours are 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., in which they can fire off the fireworks. The other holidays are Labor Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Chinese New Year, Cinco de Mayo, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, and so forth. So all those are listed on that nice fact sheet that I say you can get off their website. Fireworks can be discharged. You got to keep in mind on your own property or on someone else's property in which they give you express consent to use their property to fire them off. Political subdivisions in the state law do have the ability to kind of tighten down what they want, maybe the hours and so forth. The board is elected not to do anything like that at this time, so we fall under the state law. We have no resolutions or anything through the township, so this is what we will be following when we enforce the fireworks. When I'm talking about this and what you can and can't do, you got to remember that if you're in another jurisdiction, you have to check, because I just recently on the news saw a jurisdiction this morning that banned them all in their jurisdiction. So this is if you were in Delhi Township. It applies, like I said, to the 1.4G fireworks by consumers, so that's your fireworks in your fireworks stores that you can walk in and buy. All those would, even the mortars, so you put the mortar in the tube and they make a loud boom, and we get a lot of calls on them, but as long as they're under the 1.75 inch mortar, it's legal, and that's what you can buy at these fireworks stores. Persons under the age of 18 cannot be within 150 feet of the discharge portion of aerial fireworks. So if you're shooting any that go up in the air, anybody under 18 has to be 150 feet away. Non-aerial devices, which are more your ground fountains and all those types of things, they have to be 50 feet away from those. They cannot be discharged on public property or private school property. So when I say public property, I can't decide to go up to Delhi Park, being public property, and start lighting off fireworks. So keep that in mind. It's got to be on your own property or someone else's property that gives you consent. Cannot be, and the fire department will appreciate this, they're illegal to fire off if there's drought conditions declared. So don't know if we'll have that this year, but if that's the case, they would be illegal to fire off. Also, while in possession or control of any or under the influence of alcohol or any intoxicating liquor or beer or controlled substance, you're not permitted to use them, and that comes with common sense. But unfortunately, I know a lot of that goes on. Any person who violates any of it is guilty of first-degree misdemeanor, enforceable by law. Like I said, once again, go to their websites, com.ohio.gov. You can get, this is just a piece that I pulled out of in the highlights. There's a lot more to it if you're really wanting to get serious about it and stuff. But myself, and I'm sure Chief Campbell would say, we'd rather you leave the fireworks shows up to the professionals. But if you decide to partake on this, then make sure you do it in a safe manner and everybody goes home safe.
Well, Delhi Township has not altered, changed, or passed anything to alter what the state of Ohio is saying. But we do have that option. So I think it's fair to say, don't misbehave and we won't have to change anything. I mean, that's a pretty simple way of saying it. But obey the rules, be careful, and we won't have to do any additional enforcing, altering, or changing of these rules. Chief, I guess we'll all talk after the holiday is over and see how the behavior remained.
Yeah, the one thing I could mention is a lot of the complaints that we get aren't during the 4th of July when they're doing them, you know, and it's not Memorial Day when they're doing them. It's 2 or 3 days after the fact. Okay, Memorial Day's over, you know, and my neighbors are still shooting these things off, or it's 2 days before and they're still shooting them off. State law will give some, you know, ability to do that, you know, when you hear the weekend before and the weekend after the 4th. that they can do that, so.
And the hours are 4 to 11,
Not 1 o'clock in the morning.
not 1 o'clock in the morning. And let's all remember one thing. Cats and dogs during fireworks can just lose it, okay? I mean, they just go, Mike's shaking his head, yes, I got a feeling crazy daisy.
Crazy daisy, yes.
Yeah, so,
Underneath the bed.
so make sure that you have your animals in a safe place as well as your children. So,
And all of them, I just looking at the list, the 9 holidays, they all end at 11 p.m. with the exception of one. New Year's Eve, you can go up to 11:59.
Celebrate early.
Not midnight,
11:50.
not 12:01, up to 11:59.
That's
okay, we'll remember that, and we'll announce that again in January, okay?
Put a clock
Okay.
tower in the middle of the township. Everybody will know if they see it.
Thanks, Chief. And I know, Chief Campbell, you just don't want any phone calls that says there's been an emergency with a firework.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, following the agenda, Public Works, is there anything, John? All the roads are clear? Open? Bridges are up?
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute, bridges are not up.
I think all the streets right now, everything is open. Cleves Warsaw's been open since last week.
Yeah,
And I know they're starting on Heather Ridge subdivision. So there'll be more traffic coming in and out of there soon.
okay.
Any idea how things are looking down on Fairbanks down that way? Are they on schedule or?
We made several calls with that today. We're still waiting back on them, but they're getting pretty close, I believe, on all the waterworks project through there. So we don't have any type of paving schedule yet.
Okay.
It's nicely
Next time
striped. You can see the striping.
Down Mayhew, that's pleasant.
Yes, that's all finished up. That project is all done.
Okay, all right. Well, keep us informed. Thank you.
Trustee Seavey, can I add one thing I forgot?
Absolutely, Chief.
The fireworks that are going to be shot off have to be purchased in the state that they were going to be shot off.
Oh.
So I
So
just would
the
be
the thing about a bridge reminded you.
So I would be amiss if I didn't say that. Technically, it's not legal to leave Ohio, go buy fireworks.
And bring 'em
go
back.
and shoot them off here. You would have to go to fireworks stores in Ohio, which you can't really picture of any of them down here, but they are in Ohio. that you
Okay.
can get 'em from. So I just did want to mention that.
That's good to know.
All right. So
Save me the trouble.
buy in Ohio, use in Ohio. Fireworks.
Chairperson Seavey, if I might add, because
Yes.
what else do I have to do but sit here? The consequences of lighting off the fireworks can be a problem. For instance, you can commit a trespass if you shoot a bottle rocket on somebody else's property. You can commit criminal damaging if the bottle rocket goes and, burns their grass. So while this fireworks law does allow you to possess them and allow you to shoot them off, it doesn't allow you or exempt you from the consequences of doing so. And nor does it exempt particular noise resolutions or disturbing the peace or other disorderly conduct citations. So what I would just say on that is that be safe and be reasonable, and if the police officers come by and say, hey, knock it off, I would suggest that you probably follow that.
Follow what the officer is telling you.
And if they do look at the fact sheet, like I said, it goes into so much more than what I just covered. It does say, you're not allowed shooting them into buildings, stuff like that, so.
My
Well-
favorite is you're not allowed to do it indoors.
Yeah, you can't shoot them off indoor. They covered everything.
And they had to put that in print.
Seriously.
Yes.
They had to put it in print.
I just didn't think you wanted me to sit there and read all that.
Oh,
In
Lord.
fairness, Chief has a good point. It's on the Department of Commerce website that there's this 2-page fact sheet.
Well, the board wants to put our trust in our residents to behave, understand the rules, be safe, don't light up your neighbor's yard, and let's see what happens. If we had bad behavior, then we'll change the rules. Okay? All
I think
right.
it's interesting times that we live in. We're looking at all these fireworks and all the regulations and what you can do, not do. You can't shoot them across the fence or indoors and everything else. And yet what just started on June 13th on open carry, concealed carry, no permit, no training. It's just nuts.
But don't carry a firework across the bridge.
Yeah. Just be safe. That's the bottom line, and stay within the law.
Right.
And if you're not sure of the law, find out.
Look it up.
I have a,
Can I say one thing on that?
If you'd have control of this.
Wasn't like this,
Control, Mr. DeLong.
it wasn't like this when Jack ran the meetings.
No, I just want to urge people, I mean, you brought up a good point, Trustee Davis. I just want to urge people that if they have the desire now to carry a firearm because they're permitted to, and they put it in their car, remove it from the car and don't leave it in the car overnight. That was my fear, is all of a sudden people are just going to throw them in the car and leave them in the glove box and they know they got it if they need it. The problem is we have car break-ins, and then those guns get into the hands of the people that we don't want guns in their hands. So I can see that number spiking, and, you know, I kind of talked to a couple of people, department members, and they're like, nah, I don't know. 2 days after it went into effect, we had our first car break-in with a gun stolen. You know, so you might think it's in the glove box, you might think it's under the seat out of plain sight, but they're going to rummage through the car, and next thing you know, now we have a gun out on the street. So in the hands of somebody that we don't want it in, you know, and probably doesn't have the, you know, good chance they don't even have the right to carry it because of their record or something like that. So I would just like encourage residents and anybody else to keep that in mind.
Well, while we're still on that subject, also, if you're going to carry your gun outside of the state of Ohio, that state may not recognize the I don't need a permit rule. So, like, if you're traveling, I don't know what Kentucky is, Brian.
My understanding, and I don't know all 49 of their jurisdictions, but I'll simply say that if you're a qualifying individual, which means you don't have the CCW, and you go to Kentucky, I don't believe they recognize it, so you'll get popped in Kentucky for violating their CCW law. Whereas if you have a CCW in Ohio, that will translate and you'll be fine there in Kentucky.
Right.
But make sure you check before.
As well as Indiana.
Right.
So, you know,
And a
that's
qualifying
only
individual.
the state of Ohio. You
Right,
can't.
and the qualifying individual, there's like 15 different permutations as to what satisfies that definition, and it could be, if you have a felony charge pending, you've lost your ability to do that. So as Chief points out, you know, there are a number of factors to determine whether you're a qualifying individual in the first place, including you have to be at least 21.
All right.
I apologize, I just thought that was worth mentioning.
Okay, that was two. You think we'll have,
3 strikes?
are we going for 3?
He wouldn't if
Thanks,
he wanted
Chief.
to.
All right. Administration, Mr. Luby, we have a resolution?
Resolution 2022-86, resolution adopting the tax budget for fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2023, pursuant to RC 5705.29, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Cameron?
Just to be clear, no alcohol and fireworks or inside?
Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I'm here to help talk about just briefly the tax budget. This is an exercise that happens each year. It is to be submitted to the auditor's office by July 20th, I believe, somewhere in the latter half of July. So this is our chance to give to the auditor, the Budget Commission, our projections for revenues and expenses for the upcoming year 2023. Obviously, we're 6 months from when, you know, the year ends, so we're projecting. The Budget Commission then takes the numbers we give them, and this is our chance to look at what we think revenues would be, what the levies could be, what our other revenue sources are, and then they take that and confirm, yes, we would agree with that, or no, and then what we get back from them in the September timeframe is our Certificate of Estimated Resources. That is a document that affirms the different revenue sources we've projected, and then we can use those revenues to then appropriate or budget for 2023. So we have to have those. That's part of the exercise we're completing with this tax budget. This is a very conservative exercise that we do with the tax budget, meaning we look at what the levies are bringing in to date, what they brought in last year, the year before, what we know the property, you know, activity is, if there's development or not, and we're in an upswing of sorts. So that's good. So we go through that exercise and then project where we think those levies are going to be, how we think our expenses are, and then they affirm those. So it's a very conservative. We project more expense than we know we're probably going to have, just so we're covering ourselves, so that we're not cutting ourselves short. We don't try and cut this too marginally. We try and make sure there's plenty of room. So that is the exercise. This has been advertised and has been available in the office for the last couple weeks, so that's required. So I don't think we've gotten any calls about it, and I don't think we
And there
typically
were no
have.
public comments during the hearing either, so.
So anyway, that's what this exercise is. And then I will add, once the year closes, we have this certificate of resources that we budget off of. Once the year closes, we can then revise it to make sure we reflect, the correct amount of revenue we have. And then it happens through the year. The auditor's office lets us do that. So I'd be happy to answer
So
any.
this is the first swipe at 2023.
This establishes what the Budget Commission will then affirm for us, and then we use that to appropriate.
And we
for the
still
end of
have
the
the
year.
opportunities to amend.
Yeah, we amend it all throughout the year. If we get revenue in or grants or other things that have to count as revenue, Lindsay's constantly updating that with the auditor's office.
All right, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor to dispense with the second reading of this resolution?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes. Resolution passes. Anything else then from administration, Mr. DeLong?
Yeah, we have great news finally to speak about with Delhi Town Square. We finally have a building permit that's going to be issued by the end of the week. So we can start moving everything back on site. Bruce had to pull off site because they couldn't do any more work because we didn't have any permit approval. So they will be back around July 11th. You'll start seeing things going into full gear. We are unfortunately about 6 to 8 months, I think, behind schedule right now, but it's just how it is. I mean, everything's a little late, but we had to work through the permitting with MSD and Greater Cincinnati Waterworks, which was kind of our hiccup, but we got everything resolved and good things are on the horizon.
Well, that was a long road to travel to get those permits, and thank you, everybody in administration, for getting it through, getting it done, and we're back to seeing the earth move on Delhi Pike, so that's great. Also like to compliment you on the great picture that's up.
Oh, thank you. That was a team effort.
Wow.
We appreciate the compliment. That was BCI and staff here and a little bit of everyone on our team working with us to put that together, and went through a couple different renderings. I think that one looked the best, and that's what we went with. And
So for those of you, it's now on the site, and it's a great picture. It really is. So it answers a lot of questions as to what's going on there. So great job. Thank you. Community development, we still have you, Mr. Long. Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2022-87, a resolution certifying violation abatement expenses at 435 Vaughn Road, 4469 Delhi Pike, 4394 Delhi Pike, 471 Anderson Ferry Road, 4655 Delhi Pike, 373 Robin Lane, 332 Glen Oaks Drive, 5376 Romance Lane, 3940 Delhi Pike, 5196 Delhi Pike, 465 Burhan Drive, 5321 Plum Ridge Drive, and 5405 Boutique Court to the County Auditor for assessment, declaring emergency and dispensing with second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Mr. Luby was reading that off. I was scrolling through the screen really quick with all the properties. These are properties we had to actually go in and abate. There are 13 total. The abatement costs range from $581.25 to $1,365. So these will be placed on the property tax record. So we will hopefully get that money returned to us.
And if I remember right, it came to like $10,000
It's a $10,000 total bill.
for not mowing the grass or
Not
whatever.
mowing the grass, debris, yep. And we had a recent bill just come in again that it's not in front of you yet, for almost $4,500 just for mowing. So please mow your yards.
Please,
All right.
save yourself some money.
Move to dispense
Thank
with
you.
the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-88, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 503 Moorview Drive, declaring an emergency and dispense with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
I will just say all the properties that are still on the agenda tonight, that's Resolution 2022-088 through 95. They were all in still the condition you see in the photos. So if you have any questions, what you see in the photos, please let me know, but I'll just allow Mr. Luby just to read through them.
Okay. Thank you.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-89, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 503 Moorview Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-90, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 825 Gilcrest Lane, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-91, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4301 Del Ryan Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-92, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 4306 St. Dominic Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Mr. DeLong, what in the world is that?
Yes.
There's a little bit of everything back there, from an air conditioner to a broken down treadmill to metal, just in general. It's all kinds of stuff back there.
So are those things that a truck would have to actually dump back there, or is that from the house?
I don't know where things come from at most of these properties, to be frankly honest with you.
So is it on a parcel owned by a,
It's a residence.
it is?
It's occupied.
Okay.
Wow, okay. Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-93, a resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4783 Shady Lawn Terrace, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading? Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-94, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5405 Boutique Court, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Is that deck falling away from the building? No, it's just,
It's just the
Just full of
there's
debris.
there's trash, and then there's aluminum siding, all kinds of things just laying on that deck.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Looby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2022-95, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 511 Angel Nook Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Looby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes, resolution passes. I have no
I have a
signed in.
quick question, if you would. On the, when you just saw the house that we were just commenting on, we had some stuff on the back porch, was it coming up? And you said, no, some shingles and things falling or whatever. One of the things I know several of us probably have gotten a question about is business down at the end of Delhi there at Pedretti, where the gutter and stuff is just hanging and things like that. Is that somehow that this is all grandfathered in, or what's this? How's that work?
No, that would fall under what we call a property maintenance code. So if that gutter fell completely off the building and was laying on the ground, then we could treat it as debris. But since it's still attached to the structure, unfortunately, our hands are tied.
Okay.
Yeah.
And old junk cars and things like that, they allowed to have them on?
That a lot of people don't realize this, but that area down there was once all zoned industrial.
Okay.
Which is kind of unique in a township on a hillside. So in 2018, we did, when it's part of the plan, the Pike Strategic Redevelopment Plan, some of the visioning in there was to correct zoning. So that area down there now is a neighborhood business and mixed family residential. But anything that was there
Prior
at the
to.
time becomes grandfathered in by law, and they're allowed to operate into perpetuity unless they can sell the business, but if the business ceases operations for 2 years or longer, and somebody else wants to go into that property, they then have to meet the code that's present at that time. So they're illegal non-conforming. There's nothing we can do about it. They're operating still to this day, so our hands are again unfortunately tied. It's the fun laws of zoning that we love to be able to explain to the public because they don't think we're doing our job when they complain, but we're doing everything we can legally.
Yeah, well, you just explained it very clearly, so yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Do you have a public comment? Could you come to the mic, please?
In the future, am I supposed to sign in?
Yes.
Yeah, you are.
Before the meeting or-
Yeah, should be a pink paper out there, but that's all right. Go ahead.
Super.
Name and address, please.
Brian Ezel, 5587 Delhi Pike. Nice to see you all. There's two things. One, constitutional carry is legal in Kentucky for carrying
Oh, it is.
a firearm for 21 and older, and with all the restrictions. And then Indiana, July 1st, will be for 18 and older.
18 and older.
So-
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure, that's not my comment, but just wanted to add that. I wanted to address the gentleman from the ODNR that talked 2 weeks ago, I believe, regarding Clearview Lake. Just to refresh everyone's memory, he was asking Delhi to enter into a contract with the ODNR to get the lake stocked with trout in the spring. The benefit would be that there would be trout, people would catch trout, I guess. But the drawbacks, I believe, is it would give them jurisdiction over the lake, and it would require fees for licensing, and it would give them oversight over not the park, but the lake in terms of licensing and litter and whatnot. I just wanted to voice my opinion that I think it would be a bad idea to enter into that agreement with them, and if people so wanted to stock the pond with whatever fish, we could explore that as an option and do it annually ourselves, and have the people who sought that to fund the bill for that, I guess, foot the bill for that. That's just my opinion. Want to share
No,
that?
that's great. I mean, but let me make sure I understood what you said.
Sure.
You would rather we independently take the stocking of the lake and continue with no license and the rules as they are existing today?
Correct. I think it's a good thing we have. I mean, ideally, you wouldn't have to stock it at all. Bluegill and catfish and whatnot will reproduce themselves. There's no need for any maintenance, but if people desired that, I think it's something that could be undertaken by the people who would be fishing there.
Okay.
Voluntarily.
I believe their contract is now under review, so.
I don't know that I agree with the interpretation of the contract that was articulated, but nonetheless, that's up to the trustees, and we would negotiate that. And I believe the gentleman said they were relatively flexible on the terms, so whatever it is, yeah, it's not a hard, it's only eight paragraphs, so we could deal with that. And Greg and I have already talked about, it's
Okay.
more an operational issue than it is how do we operate it, and it seems like ODNR would agree with that. And if they don't want to agree with it and don't want to do what the trustees want to do, we just won't do it.
Okay.
Or that, obviously, that's your call.
Thanks, Brian.
Perfect, thanks.
Thank you. Was there anyone else? Okay, thank you. Then we will go to the announcement of community events. Mr. Luby.
We have the free fishing on Friday at Clearview Lake. That's now through September 30th. It's from 7 a.m. until dusk. It is catch and release only, and it's available to Delhi residents only. It's limited to designated areas around the lake, and you can call 451-3300 with any questions. The farmers market at Clearview Lake is operating on Saturdays throughout the summer. It is from 9 a.m. till noon. There are currently 30 vendors offering a variety of items. You can call 451-3300 with any questions. The Go Vibrant 7th Annual Million Step Neighborhood Challenge. The challenge started on May 28th and will run through October 15th. Go Vibrant has created the largest network of urban walking routes in 21 communities. Delhi has designated Go Vibrant walking trails throughout the township, and you can check out our website or our link for more information and to register. Delhi Branch Library Dancing Through the Ages is Wednesday, July 20th from 6 till 7 p.m. It's at the library on Foley Road. Learn several dances through the decades, including the 1920s swing, the 1950s sock hop, and 1970s disco, and it will be presented by Pones. Delhi Park's second summer concert featuring the Tillers is brought to you in cooperation with St. Dominic Athletic Association, Delhi Skyline Chili, Seton High School, Delhi Professional Firefighters, Local 3389, Delhi Hills Kiwanis, Krugler Law, Delhi Business Association, and James J. Luby. It is Thursday, July 21st at 7 p.m., and it's at the Delhi Park Pavilion. Food and beverages will be available for purchase. No coolers are permitted. The Madcap Puppets presents the Story Quest, Wednesday, July 27th at 7 p.m., and that's at the Delhi Park Pavilion. The event is put on by the Delhi Parks and Recreation Department. Royal storyteller Everett Hickenbottom recounts two adventurous tales, The Stolen Crown and Feetwater, before getting help from audience to imagine one final wondrous story. Loads of audience participation and hilarious puppets fill this charming production. That's all we have.
Thank you. All right, we have no reason for executive session, so we can call for adjournment.
If there's no other business to come before the Board of Trustees tonight, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second the motion?
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. We will see you again on Wednesday, July the 13th. Same place, same time, 6 o'clock. Have a very safe 4th of July from the Board of Trustees and Fiscal Officer. Just celebrate patriotism in America and stay safe.
Amen.